Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. This is Budget with Jess, and in today's video, we're going to be doing my debt confessions video. So if you're interested in this type of content, go ahead and keep on watching. So I've been saying that I'm going to do a debt confessions video because it is very different from my last one that I did. I was doing like a series of them last year, but I was almost done paying for them and then I got back into debt. I'm not really going to go into so much detail of how I got back into the debt. It's just so you guys know, it wasn't from overspending or anything like that. It was just a family emergency that I had to attend to. I have talked about it in some of my other videos. I just don't really want to get into it right now. And things happen. Unfortunately, at that time, just a little bit of background of why I didn't use my emergency fund or my savings was that I think I had about maybe $3,000 with my emergency fund and my actual savings. So that still wasn't even going to be enough to cover the cost of what I needed to pay. But also at that time, my job was I work for a unionized hospital, and our contract was going to end, and we did end up going on strike. So we ended up going on strike, and I didn't want to use that money knowing that we might have gone on strike. And at that point, I think it was only a 3-day strike, or I really wasn't sure how long that strike was going to be. It ended up being a 3-day strike. Thankfully, it didn't go any longer, but it could have gone longer. I mean, if you followed any of the strikes that were going on last year with any of the unions, some of them were lasting for a very long time. I know the writers were on strike for months and months. So even though I work for a hospital, you would think we wouldn't go on strike. I was scared that I wasn't going to have enough money to be able to cover the cost for that as well if I had to be on strike for longer than 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it was. So that's kind of the little situation that I had myself in. If it wasn't for the strike, I probably would have used my emergency fund and all that to fund what I needed to fund, but I still would have had to get into some credit card debt, or maybe I would have found another way, but just everything came all kind of at the same time. So this was the best thing that I could have done. Thankfully, I had almost paid off all of my credit cards by one. So I did have enough available credit for me to cover these expenses. It just sucks because I am back in debt because of it. Now, before I also start, just a disclaimer, there is a method that I'm going to use to pay this off. It might not work for you. You might not agree with it, and that is totally fine. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. Now, am I in a hurry to pay off this debt? Yes, I am, but I'm not racing time. I'm not like, if I don't get paid in 6 months, I'm like, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to give myself a year to pay this off. It might happen, it might not happen. You know, you just never know what's going to happen in the year. And I think that's what I learned last year. I have a plan, but God has his own plan. But I am trying to cut back on some things. Obviously, I'm not trying to restrict myself so much that I feel so restricted. I still have to fund my sinking funds because throughout this cash stuffing journey, I have came to realize that me stuffing my sinking funds does help me not get into more debt, because if I want to get my hair done, I am saving up a little from each paycheck. And by the time I go and get my hair done, I'm not going and like putting it on a credit card and then putting myself more into debt. So I hope stuff like that does make sense. I still want to stuff what I need to stuff. Like I still need to stuff my cart maintenance, because like right now I'm saving up for tires. That's like a need. You know, for oil changes, for car tags, and I still need to put some stuff there. I am obviously trying to cut back on some things, but it's like, I'm not going to stop completely eating out just to pay off debt. That's just not me. And I have to be realistic of what the life that I live. So I'm sorry, there's going to be probably a lot of like harsh cuts on this, but I'm washing and my dog barks at the washing machine every time I wash. And I should have filmed this video later, but this is the only time that I have right now. So yes, so like I was saying, I'm not going to restrict myself so much. I still want to have fun. I'm not going out every week. I'm not spending so much amount of money. The bills that I have already are the bills that I have. I mean, I can't cut my Disney pass. I have it till August, and it's just like a fun thing that I do here and there. And it's just stuff like that. So like I said, most people have their way of like restricting everything to just the bare necessities and like paying off debt. And that is a wonderful to have. That's just not me. I do need to give myself some type of wiggle room and some type of freedom in that way, or else I think, and that's just with anything, not just with like debt, like even with like working out and stuff like that. Like you cannot restrict yourself to everything, because you will like, for me, I will get bored or I will feel too constrained that I cannot keep going. Like it will be too much for me, if that makes sense. So yeah, just try to be nice in the comments. I do like to hear people's stories of how they're paying off their debt and how they're doing it, because I do like to pick people's brains. And I mean, maybe you have a way, or you're doing something that might be helpful for me and for other people, or like the way that I'm doing might be helpful for you and, you know, other people. So let's go ahead and get started. I did make this new, this is different from like my old one. I do like to just print it out and have it in a piece of paper so I'm able to see it. You can have it like on your tablet or whatever way you want to do it. This is how I'm doing it. I made this on Canva and I just printed it out, and I will do it. I think I'm gonna do monthly updates. They might not be so much of a drastic change, but you know, a little chipping at it a little at a time, it's, you know, we will get it paid off at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get started. I did put it here from like the month, starting balance and ending balance. So for the month is going to be January, and I do not have the due dates for these things, but that really doesn't matter, I guess, in that sense. I'm trying to do the debt snowball, which is Dave Ramsey's ways. I do follow his techniques most of the time. I don't technically agree with everything because I feel like his style might be a little bit too outdated for today's time. But in the sense of the debt snowball and like cash stuffing and all that, that does work. So I will say that. So the debt snowball is you go from your lowest balance to your highest balance. And I know then there's the debt avalanche, and that's by interest. I feel like the interest one is too much for me. That's too much math that I do not think I can do. The debt snowball, I feel like it's easier, especially in the beginning, because your lowest balances, you're paying them so fast that it gives you like momentum to keep going. And so we're gonna start off with my self credit card, and this one has a balance of $189.68. And the minimum payment for this one is $30. And then my next one is my Target credit card. And this one has a balance of $190.08. And I believe this is a $30 payment as well. My next one is my Total credit card. This one has a balance of $214.15, and this has a minimum payment of $41. Next up is my Credit One, and I have two, so this is number one, and this one has a balance of $377.83, and this has a minimum payment of $30 as well. Next up is my Venmo credit card, and this one has a balance of $461.27. This one also has a minimum payment of $30. I don't know why a lot of them are $30. Next is my Capital One Quicksilver. I also have two Capital One cards, and this one is $489.92, and this one has a minimum payment of $25. Then the next one is my Capital One Venture card, and this one has a balance of $527.81, and this one's minimum payment is also $25. Let's see. Next up is my Mission Lane card, and this one has a balance of $557.76, and this one also has a minimum payment of $30. Let's see. My other Credit One card. Let's put two. This one has a balance of $834.55, and I think this has a minimum payment of $40. Then we go into my Avant credit card, and this one has a balance of $900 $160.84. And I'm not very sure what the minimum payment for this one is. Next one is my Home Street credit card. And this one has a balance of $977.64. I'm also not sure for the minimum payment for this one. I think it's 60 something. These seem to kind of change. These last three, I don't know, because they're higher balances, they sometimes seem to change like their minimum payment, not by a lot, but sometimes it's 50, sometimes in the 60-ish. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. Wells Fargo has a balance of $1,953.95. And like I said, I'm not very exactly sure on the minimum payment, but I mean, it doesn't really technically matter because I'm not I'm not there in those yet. Okay, so the way that the debt snowball works is that you're gonna go from the lowest all the way to the highest, and then once these minimum payments, like, I'm gonna be honest, the self one, I don't really make a minimum payment for it because sometimes I use it for my groceries and then I pay it, so I'm not paying a minimum payment on it. But this one's gonna get paid off, I believe, this month already, so that one should be fine. And then once I get to Target, and I start paying off Target, then that minimum payment, once I'm done with Target, that minimum payment will go into the next one, which will be my total card. And then it'll be, you know, you'll be snowballing it into the next one. So the minimum payment, since they're already in my budget, I would just keep snowballing them into my next card. So that would be the extra payment that I will be also giving along. There's more extra payments that I'm also going to be giving, and I'll be explaining how kind of how that goes. So let's go ahead and add this up. Okay, so we have the total for this is, and I've never added them up. Well, I have, but I thought it was really less than this. $7,735.48. Now, I do have a card payment. I'm not adding my card payment into this. This is just my consumer debt, if you will, just my credit cards. After I get with this, then my card payment, that's just, I just see it like as a bill right now. I do want to chip at it more later on, but I want to get out of this first, and then I'll move on into my car payment, or my car. And so the starting debt for this will be $7,735.48. So this is it. It is a lot. I know people have higher debt, some people have lower debt. It is kind of a lot for me. I think it is way more than what I had last time. So it is a little bit scary. I'm not happy about it, but like I said, it had to be done. I really didn't have any other choice. So it's just, it is what it is. I think like the only one that kind of has some spending on it is like Target, obviously, and maybe my self one. But other than that, it was all really because of an emergency of things that I needed to pay and stuff like that. So I'm not really worried about my credit score right now because I'm not planning to buy a house anytime soon. I'm not planning to open up any more credit cards right now. I want to get these out of the way. So right now, I don't really care to care about my credit score. It is going to get better as time goes and I start paying all of these down. So it doesn't really matter. Right now, I really don't care. I'm not trying to like chase an 800 score right now. So this is fine. I know a lot of people end up closing their credit cards after. I believe me from like last year that I was getting out of credit card debt. I was having a pretty good hold on my credit cards and I wanted to use them how they're intended to be used, like for points and stuff, and it was working out for me. And like I said, this wasn't because of impulse buying or anything like that. So I think I have a really good hold on that aspect and I'm able to keep these credit cards open, and I will keep them open because like I said, if I didn't have these cards open, I needed them like in a jiffy, like I needed them at that time, like I I don't know exactly how I would have paid for them. I would have had to ask for a loan or something. Like, my emergency fund wasn't that big. So I'm happy that I had these credit cards open and I was able to use them when they were needed. So credit cards could be a good thing. I think there could be a form of an emergency fund if you need to. I mean, it sucks because now I have to pay them all back, but I think they did work at that time. And I think this is like a testimony to that some people see them as such a bad thing, and they could be a bad thing. It could be a really bad spending habit thing, but it also could be a good thing, especially for me when I really didn't need it at that time. So I will not close them down. I will keep them open because, like I said, I had a pretty good handle on them. It just sucks that this happened. And so, yeah, so my method that I'm going to do it might not work for everybody, but this is what kind of what's working for me last year, how I was doing it. And I'm just going to show you guys. I'm ended up doing, obviously I'm paying the minimum payments on it. And then I have this save $24 in 2024. So what I'm trying to do for myself is every paycheck, every week, because I split, even though I get paid bi-weekly, I split my paychecks in half. I'm putting $24 in here. And then any extra money that I get from either my Etsy paycheck or YouTube or anything, I try to put $24 from that into this as well. So excuse me, so just this month already, I technically started the last week of December, so that's why there's like an extra. I put some in from my Etsy paycheck, and I'm gonna put one in for my YouTube paycheck when I do get it, and I still have another paycheck for this month, so there's going to be 2 more, so I would have completed 2 lanes. So at the end of the month, I will unstuff this and then make another extra payment towards whatever card I'm paying at the time. I'm going to use this money. I'm going to use my rollover money that I use for my cash envelopes, which is my gas, groceries, personal, coffee and stuff like that. Whatever I don't use, I'm putting it back here, and this is just for me to track to see how much money I'm actually not using, just for my own. I just want to know towards the end of the year. And then this money is also, I'm going to unstuff it at the end of the month, and whatever that is also going to go towards the extra payment. So I'm going to use this challenge also along with, and can I just put the money from my account? Yes, I probably can. But to me, the way that my brain works when I'm doing a challenge in this way, like, it's giving me motivation to keep stuffing it as opposed to like just putting the money away. I don't know. That's why I want to just unstuff it at the end of the month. I'm not waiting to finish it or anything. I'm just unstuffing it at the end of the month so I can go ahead and pay them off faster. So I'm going to use that challenge, and I'm also going to use my Friday challenge. So every paycheck or every Friday, I'm putting in also a certain amount. So at the end of like every month, I should have an extra $50. Except on the months that have 5 weeks, we'll have an extra $25. So I have $75. So at the end of the month as well, I will unstuff this, and there'll be an extra $50 payment going towards my whatever I'm able to save on here. So like right now, I already have these filled out, and we can just check to see, because I think I'm going to be able to pay off the first one. I have 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So I have $144 in here, and the balance is $189. So I have $144 plus I'm going to put $24 for my YouTube paycheck, and then another $24 for my next paycheck. So I already have $192. So the South credit card, thankfully, is going to get paid off this month. And I still have not added, for that, I still have not added like my Friday challenge and then my rollover money. So whatever now I'm going to be using for that, I'm going to then go towards Target to be paying it off. So hopefully that makes sense. That is my plan to paying it off. Hopefully it's not confusing, but maybe it gives you guys a little bit of more ideas on how to pay off debt. This is the way that I was doing it last year, but with the 52-week challenge. The only problem that I kind of saw with that one was that in the beginning is very low numbers. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you get to the highest numbers, you make higher payments. At least this is $24. And I think in a month, I for sure will have like $92 or something, plus the $50. So you know, hopefully like that, I'm able to chip at it more and more and more. And I'm trying, I try to do as much side hustles that I could, or work as much overtime that I can to also pay this down, but also keep money going into my other sinking funds to kind of still keep my life going. I'm hoping to get paid this off in a year. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. Maybe it'll take longer. Maybe it'll take less time. We don't know. So this is how I'm doing it. Hopefully it was helpful to you guys. Hopefully it's inspiring you in a way. I like seeing debt confession videos because it doesn't make me feel like you're alone. We're not alone. Just things happen and it's okay. At least I have a plan, and I am just very motivated to tackle it on and just keep going with it. I'm not really worried about interest rates or anything like that. It's just the name of the game when it comes to credit cards. I'm just trying to get them paid down. It's okay. It's not charging me thousands and thousands of dollars. It will be fine. Again, this is my debt confessions. I think I will do it monthly, if not quarterly, maybe monthly. Even though if it's monthly, it's not so much of a big change. It's going to be just a little bit here and there, but I will try to get a video out to you guys, hopefully monthly, if not every other month, to see how I'm doing and how I'm keeping up with this. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you stayed and watched this video for this long, go ahead and subscribe and follow along if you haven't subscribed yet. Like this video, comment down below and let me know what is your way of side hustles to tackle on your debt, or what are your ways of tackling on the debt. I would love to hear them. Like I said, I like to hear other people's perspectives. And yeah, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.